Stir-crazy party animals may ruin the city's planned reopening for the rest of us.
Areas including Manhattan and the Hamptons where businesses have been widely reported for violating social distancing rules could see their reopening plans reversed, Governor Cuomo threatened Sunday, even as Saturday marked the lowest number of new COVID-19 deaths in the state since the peak of the nightmare in April.
The state has received a whopping 25,000 complaints about establishments that are serving customers and allowing drinking on the streets, he said, noting Manhattan and the Hamptons are leading areas in the state with violations.
I am warning today in a nice way, consequences of your actions, Cuomo said at an Albany press conference, noting businesses can lose their liquor licenses for breaking social distancing rules. We have 25,000 complaints statewide. I'm not going to turn a blind eye to them.
The threat came as social media have been flooded with photos of revelers congregating in Greenwich Village, the Upper East Side and Hell's Kitchen, areas that typically draw diners and drinkers. The images depict city residents letting off steam after nearly 3 months of lockdown orders in which bars and restaurants have been prohibited from serving customers on their premises.
Huge crowds were seen drinking outside bars at St. Mark's Place through the weekend, with many people shunning masks and social distancing rules tossed out the window. The throngs were so big, they spilled out into the street, forcing cars to drive by at slow speeds.
It was pandemonium, resident Derek Carpel, 40, told the Daily News. There are some people that are just stupid.
But by Sunday afternoon, there were just a few small groups hanging out in the area, including Ellen Jordan, 38, and 4 masked friends who were drinking cocktails from plastic bags.
You have to be careful if you're having 1 million people on the street and they're not actually wearing masks, she observed. If someone is getting super drunk, the first thing that happens is the mask comes off.
Cuomo voiced high dudgeon at the collapse of social distancing guidelines.
They are rampant and there's not enough enforcement, he said of the violations. I am not going to allow situations to exist that we know have a high likelihood of causing an increase in the spread of the virus.
He chided both businesses and local leaders, saying, "Local government, do your job," repeating the phrase for emphasis.
If we have to close, then people are going to hold you accountable, the governor added.
Ongoing protests with thousands of New Yorkers have also drawn concern from authorities, though they have shied away from accusing them of potentially spreading the virus.
Mayor de Blasio has given vague answers when asked about social distancing violations at bars and restaurants.
Asked about crowds outside establishments in Hell's Kitchen as protests roiled the city, his owner told a reporter on June 2, "I'm a little confused about what you think was happening Saturday night in New York City.
We will go back to enforcing on bars and restaurants as we were many times, very effectively," he added. We'll go back to that.
Asked for comment on the governor's admonition, a City Hall spokeswoman suggested the city has things under control.
We had social distancing ambassadors out all weekend distributing masks and encouraging people to disperse after making their purchases, she said in a statement. These businesses are allowed to be open per the governor's guidelines and we don't believe imprisoning people or taking away their livelihood is the answer.
The governor's reproaches came as phase 1 of reopening, allowing construction, manufacturing, wholesale trade and some retail curbside pickup, was underway in the Big Apple. De Blasio recently said phase 2, featuring outdoor dining, could begin as soon as next month.
As the city reopens, and appears to calm down following massive, heated demonstrations over the death of Minnesota man George Floyd, many New Yorkers have complained of police officers ignoring health department guidelines to wear masks in public.
Cuomo criticized such cops, saying, "It's a very bad signal when you see police people who are not wearing a mask and not following the law."
His press conference was not all doom and gloom.
There were 23 coronavirus deaths on Saturday, down from a high of 799 on April 8, according to State Health Department data, which excludes probable COVID-19 fatalities tracked by the city.
This is really great news, Cuomo said. We breathe a deep sigh of relief today because of all the numbers we've been talking about. That's the one number we can't change.
But an East Village resident voiced fear over the large crowds coming to his neighborhood.
These are the people who are spreading COVID, said Nick Bankovich, 46. If I were a cop and I saw this, I would go into the establishment, go up to the manager and say we're shutting you down for 30 days.